Sabrina Fulton, the mother of Trayvon Martin, is running for office in the District 1 of Miami-Dade in Florida. And this is really a historic because, back in 2012, her son was killed by George Zimmerman, and it was a huge uproar going on within the African American community in that particular time. Then also, too, we can go into detail of like the Michael Brown situation that happened in 2014. But with this, it really sparked her interest, and her motivation is because she wants to eliminate gun violence. Now, if you go back into after the 2012 shooting that happened in the Sandy Hook Elementary School, a lot of women been going to the political atmosphere in order to enact change, and this is maybe want to be a positive reinforcement. But at the same time, and we have to understand, like, of course, like the Republicans and other political parties are at odds with this, because Republicans and conservatives, we want to keep our guns and our weapons. We want to bear the Second Amendment right to bear arms. But for the sake of the children in the inner city and the urban communities, African Americans are being, killed due to law enforcement sometimes and other individuals. And they feel like it's going wrong unjustly, going to the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court want to use her little political experience for her actually working for the government for over 24 years. She's really going to connect with Miss Lucy Macbeth, who actually the Republican senator right now. And she was talking to people at Capitol Hill that, hey, her son, Jordan Davis, was killed, back in 2012, all because he had loud music. It was out there an argument or some type of altercation with an individual, and they killed him. And, a lot of women are really kind of getting upset with this, and they just feel like, hey, we're going to go ahead and just have some type of political power. And once we get in office, we're going to change those laws and make it maybe very difficult for individuals in that city or that county to obtain guns without doing a full, thorough background check. We don't know. It can be a lot of things, but, some women that really have some empathy towards these situations, that their children getting killed out in the streets and to the hands of the people who misuse their weapons, they may succeed. And, Sabrina Fulton, I'm really kind of glad about this in a way, because at least she's being proactive, and she's upholding some type of power in a way. And I do believe that as the right Americans, we the ones that is responsible, that have no criminal record, that hasn't been in jail or a felony, should have the ability to have guns, because just in case you have a home invasion, you should have the ability and the right to protect yourself. You should protect yourself at all times, and it should not go into detail or go against the pursuit of happiness. I mean, you having these ideas and ideologies, but you destroying the rights of others. I believe it's your right to always defend yourself. I mean, government has the way to defend themselves, so as citizens, we need to be able to do that as well, especially if we live in high crime areas. That's the only thing, because in urban communities, some people are really scared to go outside and actually play with their children, have their children go outside and play in the front yard, about them being, just apprehensive of some individual shooting them or trying to, do bodily harm to their child. At least they can have some type of weapon to defend their wife, to defend their son or their daughter, in order to have a great time, But at the same time, man, I'm really interested in how she's going to do this with the Miami-Dade. Not only that she's going to take a stand on gun violence, but Sabrina Fulton was really working on employing individuals in the Miami area, giving them jobs, and the people who make low wages or low income have the ability to not only pay their bills, but still have reliable transportation to get to the job. Because I know specifically, I was talking to one of my friends here in the station about how Detroit has the highest car insurance in the nation. Is due to redlining. And the red line is that the individuals in urban communities that's predominantly black, and they hack up the high interest rates, and they go through your credit, and they go through your education, all these things that has nothing to do. Well, I'll probably say the credit, but besides like the education and health insurance, a lot of people can't afford that. They know that in the black community, and they hack it up. Like, you got 50% of people in Detroit that's driving around with no insurance, and you need insurance in order to drive the car. You got people, hey, I can pay for the car payments, but I mean, I just don't have enough for the insurance, and I need to drive so I can get to work, and I can obtain this car and provide for the maintenance of this car and take care of myself. I mean, but the insurance is too high compared to someone who lives in the suburban area. They can pay like, twice as low to someone who lives in the ghetto, and that's just really crazy. And they've been doing this since, like, of course, the Federal Housing Act and all these things, like back in the 20s when Herbert Hoover was the president in the 1920s, about own your home programs in order to enact and fight communism, and it made it very difficult for African Americans to live in white neighborhoods, and it was actually illegal. It can be like black professors or like scientists or things of that nature, and that would make it very difficult or illegal for them to move in an area that's predominantly white. And that was back then, and now like it was just a lot of resources and not a lack of funding going on in the urban communities, and that's still coming on to this day. And so that's lacking a lot of political power. But just getting back into the story with Sabrina Fulton, if this can work out, if she gets into the seat in District 1, she has to fulfill her promise of first, like, just employing jobs and developing infrastructure in Miami. And I'm not sure how the city of Miami is. I'm pretty sure there's some nice areas there and some bad areas that people are really struggling. And also too, I'm just interested in how she's going to do away with these gun laws here in her city, and maybe she's going to make an impact. And maybe she can have a positive reinforcement with law enforcement and African Americans, so it won't be another Trayvon Martin. It won't be another Michael Brown. It won't be another individual that's lost their lives due to law enforcement. So this is a real interesting thing. I might have the link in the description box here. You guys can really check that out and do your further research on that. And there's some women that's going to be really honored. She's going to launch her campaign Monday. She's going to have a lot of support. Pray that she be very successful and she get the right funding for it. But I just found this is a really interesting story. So I just want to say my 2 cents on this. I love you guys. Continue to like, comment, subscribe. My new subscribers and my old subscribers, I really appreciate you guys. So you guys take care. I'm out. Deuces.